Okay, quiet please everybody. Welcome back to the IELTS Speaking 7 Plus classroom. Now that you're all a little bit quieter, let's remember the rules that we have. First, listen interestingly. Second, work strong. And the last rule, try your highest. Now, some of you may have realised that that sounded a little bit strange, and it's for a very good reason. The teacher speaking was grammatically correct, but to an English speaker it just sounds a little bit odd. There's a very good reason that it doesn't sound quite correct, and the reason is collocations. Collocations are words that have close relationships and are commonly used together. Let's take a look at some examples. During the discussion with the class, the teacher linked these words together to make some phrases, but as some of you might have seen, they aren't actually quite correct. Now let's see the correct collocations. There aren't any clear rules for how these phrases are made, but as your English improves, you will become more familiar with them and be able to use collocations naturally. Let's look at some examples of collocations given by an IELTS student.
First thing every morning, I made my bed.
The collocation used here is make my bed. We obviously don't fix or do our bed. And here are a few examples of collocations using make. In the next example, the student is discussing her interests.
Also, I'm often too busy. I am deeply interested in current affairs.
When discussing something you love or something that you are very passionate about, it's good to use the collocation deeply interested, which the student made use of very well. Let's take a look at one more example.
It's important to be competitive and understand emerging technologies.
The examiner may ask you about current technology and technologies that are popular now, so this collocation is very useful. There are two main reasons that you should be using collocations. In a previous lesson I was discussing the assessment grid and showing you the 4 areas that are used to grade you during your IELTS speaking test. Collocations are great because they hit 2 areas in the assessment grids, lexical resource and accuracy. Now I'm going to give you some examples of more collocations you can use for popular topics that could come up in your IELTS speaking test. Let's take a look at travel first. Actually, this year I intend to take a break somewhere warm. If I can find time, I'd like to go abroad for a month or 2. I would love to make time for it, but I doubt I'll have chance. So here you go, there are 3 really useful collocations that you can use for the topic of travel. Let's look at work next. Currently, I'm volunteering in my spare time. I like to make a difference. I work online. It feels amazing when I finally close a deal. My job is quite demanding and I must pay attention at all times. It's challenging but fun. We're going to be looking at a speaking topic that we haven't seen so far in this course, and that is the weather. It's nearly always freezing. I often catch a cold and get sick. The nights are very long and it will usually go dark very early. Spring is beautiful. I'll camp in the parks and will sometimes go missing for weeks. I do hope that you found these examples useful, but there are so many more collocations that you could use. My top tip would be to try and use some new collocations with your language partner or your teacher. Best of luck, and I will see you in the next lesson.